What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Like always, like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload a video. You know what it's going to be. It's going to be a paperback book or it's going to be card games. Today, it's a book, and it's a Star Trek book. You could have guessed. We read plenty of these, and I'm going to continue to read, several a month, I'm sure. But we have Star Trek The Rift by Peter David. I did not look up who the cover art was by. I want to say it was Keith Birdsong, but no, I don't think it was. But anyways, I could pin in a comment down below because, uh, anyways, this book, well, I'll say right away, I gave it a 9 out of 10. It was gonna be an 8. I'm not gonna lie. I was in the book, and about the first 200 pages, it's really just kind of lackluster. It's not anything to write home about. And Peter David's typically an amazing author. I mean, the writing is phenomenal. I mean, don't get me wrong. Peter David's authorship is amazing. He does a great job. But the first 200 pages were just kind of like, man, they were just not that great. I mean, the writing was good, but the story was slow. It was a lot of build up for the last 70 pages, which then, Peter David shines, and it's the last 73 pages are just amazing. It was a great job. So what you got, the first 70 pages or so of the book, you're in the past with Captain Christopher Pike and a young Spock on the Enterprise, and they come across this rift, and they go through the rift because these people called the Caligarians are calling them through the rift, and they're basically red humanoid people, so they look like humans but they're red. And so they go through the rift, and they have a young lieutenant on board named Jose Tyler, and they go down there. Well, Jose Tyler, he's like a ladies' man, so he ends up, basically almost fornicating with the young lady down there, who turns out she was they're called the Master Builders, the main like head honcho of the planet. Her father's the Master Builder, and anyways, her brother is super jealous of him because they're very taboo, like compared to our culture. So like incest is nothing for them. They prefer it, but for a pure bloodline, it's pretty cringe. But Peter David's known, as far as looking at other people's reviews of his works, for you know doing some crazy stuff in his books and cracking a lot of juvenile jokes. And there's plenty of them in the book. There are some pretty good funny parts. Anyways, the main girl's name, the red girl, is Ekma, and she's a young woman, by the way. So Jose Tyler, he falls in love with her, but they can't stay. They got to go because the rift is going to close. So Pike, Spock, and Tyler get out of there, and Tyler never forgets her. So then you jump to the future, and you have the Enterprise now traveling back to the rift to basically, it opens up every 33.4 years. So Kirk and crew are heading back to the rift, and they have a few other people, an Andorian on board, a Tellarite's on board, and Ambassador Fox is on board, and Jose Tyler, who is now a Commodore, he's on board, and they're now going back to the rift to talk to the Caligarians. And of course, Jose Tyler wants to see Ekma again. He's still in love with her. Well, she is the first one to get on board, and she tells them right away she is scheduled to basically be killed by their people, pretty much. She don't want to die, so she wants to defect to the Enterprise, to the Federation. And at the same time she's doing that, telling them that, a crew already beamed down. You got Spock, Scotty, and the Andorian, and there was a doctor on board with them, super genius guy. He's dealing with mental instability now in his old age. Dreysdorf or something like that. I literally just finished the book. I can't remember the guy's name. It's just crazy to me that that happens when I'm reading. Anyways, they're down on the planet. There's the Caligarians are showing off the planet and stuff. Ekma ends up basically telling Kirk and Tyler and McCoy, what she wants to do and defect, and it just trips her out. She has like a mental breakdown because when she starts to detach from her people, she's basically having withdrawals of their stuff. Well, Spock ends up, the Caligarians end up finding out she wants to defect, so they take Spock and crew prisoner, and they're basically, Spock figures out their belief system and all that by mind melding with one of the guards that was there when Pike and crew brought them aboard, and they drink a little, and Spock remembered that the guy, his name was Alt, couldn't hold his liquor. So Spock and Scotty, of course, get this guy drunk. Spock is able to penetrate these guys' minds. Well, I should say the Caligarians are like super technologically advanced. They're like, their world, I'll get to it in a minute, but they're super advanced, but they don't like to, they want to stay where they're at. They don't want to travel. So they could, but they don't want to. Well, when Spock mind melds with Alt, he realizes that everybody is scheduled to die. They don't get to live out their lives, and all their mind leaves them and enters basically like this net, like this giant database called the world mind. So Ekma doesn't want to be a part of that. So then, of course, Kirk is tasked with trying to get his crew back, so he has to travel down there and do Kirk things. And him, Spock, and the Dr. Dreisdorf, I cannot remember his name, they end up talking the Caligarians into letting them speak to the world mind to try to convince this, entity or whatever you want to call it to let Ekma, defect to the Enterprise so her and Tyler could be together. Well, Kirk can't do it because he's human, so Spock volunteers. Spock's talking to the world mind, and he just starts bleeding out of his face. So Kirk freaks out and jumps to grab Spock, and the Dr. Dreisdorf freaks out to stop Kirk. So now they're all three in this huge world mind. Well, it turns out that the world mind wasn't ready to take Ekma yet. It was all rigged up by her son, who she had with her brother, Macro. That, if you're reading the beginning of the book, Macro and Tyler duke it out because Macro's jealous that Tyler was basically about to do his sister, I guess. Yeah, it's weird. But so the only reason they get through that because Tyler and Macro set up that in the future, right before Kirk and Spock and the Doctor into the world mind, the old man Jose Tyler tells Macro, like, let's duke it out. I know you're jealous because I beat you all those years ago. And Macro's still like vibrant and he's running after him, and literally in the book Jose Tyler stuns him with a phaser and says, that's what you get, pendejo. That's what he says. And I'm like, really? So I mean, Peter David's good with the humor like that. It was pretty funny. But anyways, so Spock and the Doctor and Captain Kirk are in this world mine. They end up meeting Ekma's father Zeo inside the world mine, and basically convinced him to let Ekma leave and stuff. So I don't know, I should have gave the book an 8 out of 10, but the last 73 pages really were good. They really were. Last 74, I should say. It was really good stuff. I mean, it was brilliant writing. It was everything you want in a Star Trek book, but man, the first 200 pages were lame. So if you read the book or have read the book, let me know what you think of the beginning of the book. It was okay with Pike and crew in the first part, but it wasn't amazing. The last Peter David books I've read were freaking awesome. They were super amazing. So I was a little disappointed the first 200 pages, but then he makes up for it in just amazing fashion. So next up on the list is another one I plugged into the TBR, this monstrosity by Brian Lee Durfee called The Forgetting Moon. I've been itching for some fantasy, so I'm going to go ahead and give this one a shot. I want to say it's probably going to take me to the end of the month to read, but I don't know. It even has an appendix. Oh, those always freak me out, so I guess if I have to look at the appendix, I will, but those disgust me. It has a list of characters, so pretty crazy stuff. I guess you could reference that if you want, but I'm really just going to go into it blind and read it and enjoy it. And then after that, I'm going to go into one of my favorite authors that I haven't read in so long, some Dean Koontz. And then we'll see where we go from there. I'm really feeling another James Rollins and more Star Trek and more Tom Clancy. So, and then I have a book coming that I won't say nothing about yet, but I'm excited to get to it when I do. And we'll go over it then. It's going to be nostalgia to the max. And I've spent years trying to remember what the series was called. But that's the video today, guys. Star Trek The Rift by Peter David. 9 out of 10. The last 74 pages make up for the lack of entertainment in the first 200. It was great. I loved it. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Later.